Hey everybody, Scott here with Life, Liberty, and Low Carb podcast. So, as I said in my title, I did not get a zero score on my CT calcium test. Now, should I be worried? Well, I don't know, and that's kind of what we're going to discuss here. I don't think I need to be worried, and I'll tell you why. For the last, let's see, it'll be 6 years in July is my keto anniversary, right? And since for the last 6 years, one of the biggest knocks against the low carb, ketogenic, and carnivore lifestyle is that, oh my God, your LDL is going to go up, your triglycerides are going to go through the roof, and you're going to develop arterial sclerosis, and you're going to have a heart attack, and all these other issues that people want to bring up to either scare you or because maybe they actually do care about you, but they've just been misinformed or they don't understand the data. Now, I'm not going to claim here to completely understand the data, but I do understand my body. And for those that don't know my story, when I went into the doctor in July of 2018, I was morbidly obese, I was hypertensive, and I was pre-diabetic. The doctor looked at me and said, "Hey, congratulations, you have two options. I could either start putting you on metformin and a bunch of other drugs, or you can actually change the way you eat to a ketogenic, low-carb lifestyle," which is what I did. And I reversed my morbid obesity, I reversed my hypertension, and I reversed my pre-diabetic state. But ever since then, I have been hounded by family members, friends that like, well, what's your cholesterol like? Well, we're going to discuss that today because I got my test done in February for my blood panel, and I'm going to show them to you. And it's taken me arguing with doctors for the last 4 years because the doctor who originally recommended the ketogenic lifestyle to me has since retired and moved on. He's also either that or he's no longer in my plan. I can't find him. But since then, I've had doctors, PAs, and registered nurse practitioners who have been arguing with me about my cholesterol levels. Even though since I lost all that weight, since I reversed my obesity, I've taken up and I'm dedicated. You ask my wife, I'm dedicated to working out and getting stronger and healthier because the ketogenic lifestyle has given me so much more energy. I work out a minimum of 5 days a week. I lift heavy 3 days a week, and I do HIIT training at Orange Theory Fitness 2 days a week, sometimes 3 days a week. I'll sometimes double up a lifting day with an Orange Theory day. I'm that dedicated to it. So 4 years ago, I asked for the CT calcium test to be done. And the PA at the time, nice guy, former military veteran, basically said, "No, but I'm worried about your cholesterol because it was above 300." And he said, "I'm going to recommend you to get an echocardiogram stress test, and you're going to go to a cardiologist." Great. All right, fine. So I went to see the cardiologist. She, of course, was a vegan. Immediately started hounding me, "Well, you need to get out of this low-carb ketogenic lifestyle." It didn't matter. I told her, I said, "Ma'am, this lifestyle has saved my life. I reversed all these other issues." I said, "I just want to get a calcium score test. I want to know if there's any atherosclerosis plaque building up in my arteries." She said no, but she was going to prove a point. She sent me to go get an echocardiogram stress test. Now, for those who don't know what that is, that's where they hook you up to wires, put you on a treadmill, stress out your heart, okay, and then immediately stop the test, put you down on a gurney, and they do an ultrasound, right? So I went ahead and did this, and I maxed out the test, all 15 minutes on it, at the highest angle. I got down, and at the time I was 50 or 51. The technician looked at me and said, "You're in the top." He says, "I can't remember the last time somebody over 50 maxed out this test." He says, you're probably in the top 2 to 3% of your age range, right? I said, fine, thank you, you know. And I went to go ahead and reschedule with the cardiologist to go over my numbers. Well, guess what? She didn't want to meet with me. And the numbers got back to the PA, and the PA is like, well, you're going to live your life. No kidding, I'm going to live my life. So, as it sits, it's taken me 4 years. Well, finally, I've got a nurse practitioner that I'm seeing. God bless her, she's great. This is the second year I've seen her. She went ahead and wrote me a prescription for a calcium score test. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up here on my computer, see if I can do this. What a calcium score test is. There it is. Calcium score test can help your healthcare provider decide if you need treatment to prevent a heart attack or stroke. Test results are most helpful for people who don't have a clear high or low risk, but are somewhere in the middle. Okay? Now, am I considered high risk? First of all, the answer is kind of, yeah. I'm now 53 years old. I believe my dad had at least 1 or 2 heart attacks by the time he was my age. Now, my dad's still alive, and I'm glad that he's gotten through a lot of this stuff, but he still has problems with his heart. Now, granted, he was a 20-year smoker. I've never smoked cigarettes. Actually, he was a smoker longer than that. But I grew up on the standard American diet, just like every other family that grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, right? So this is what a calcium score test is. Basically, as we scroll down here, you can see calcium score is 0, there's no plaque. Calcium score 29, you can see a little bit of plaque right there. Calcium score 250, calcium score 1200. Now, my understanding is that most calcium scores go from 0 to 700. Now, my sheet didn't say where it goes through to, okay? But let's go ahead. First, I want to tell you what my, let's go ahead and turn that off here. I'm going to bring up my cholesterol. So my blood panel that I took in February, give me a second here. I want to make sure that there is no private data on here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show this to you. So you can see my cholesterol total was 319. My triglycerides are 128. My HDL had a value of 54. My LDL-C, 239. Cholesterol HDL ratio, 5.9. Non-HDL cholesterol, 265. VLDL, 25.6. So somebody's going to take a look at this and goes, oh my God, you're going to develop plaque, right? It's obvious. I mean, you have doctors out there right now that are basically, their whole point in life is to get people to go vegan, and they're using cholesterol and things like that to push their agenda. So here, these are my blood tests, by the way, right? So let me go ahead and I'm going to show you one more so to show you that I've got all my blood tests here. Here's my testosterone level, because I know that a lot of people, and I was, by the way, during my blood work, I was working out six times in a 5-day time period. I was participating in Orange Theory's Transformation Challenge. But one of the big kickers about keto carnivore is, oh my God, your testosterone is dropping. I'm 53 years old. My testosterone level is almost 500. Okay, so I'm not too worried about that. So now I'm going to read to you what my calcium score says. Technical information here is multiple gated 2.5 millimeter helical CT images of the heart were obtained from the cornea to the cardiac apex. The diastolic images were analyzed and scored for coronary calcium content. Volumetric display and analysis were performed utilizing commercially available software. Calcium scores were derived and reviewed. So, what is my calcium score? Total calcium score, typically out of 700, was 62. 62, folks. Here is the total calcium score, what they what they wrote down. This total score is an amalgamation of calcium scores of the left main coronary artery, the left anterior descending coronary artery, the circumflex coronary artery, and the right coronary artery, and the posterior descending artery and their branches. So my LM score, left main coronary artery, 0. My LAD, which is the left anterior descending coronary artery, 60. Circumflex, 0. The RCA, which is the right coronary artery, 2. And the PDA, posterior descending artery, 0. And then they go on to say the total score between 11 and 100 indicates that mild atherosclerotic plaque was identified and that mild or minimal underlying coronary artery narrowings are likely. The chance that a stress test would be abnormal in an individual with a calcium score between 11 and 100 is low, approximately 1%. The future risk of developing systematic coronary artery disease, however, is moderate. They don't go on to describe what moderate is, unless attention is paid to following heart-healthy lifestyles and controlling all modifiable risk factors. No suspicious mass or nodule within the visualized portions of the lung, small hiatal hernia, was detected. Okay, so what does this mean to me? To be honest with you, if I had been granted a calcium score test 4 years ago, and my calcium score was 0, and now that it's 62, yeah, I would be concerned. However, because this is my first calcium score test, and I've had an echocardiogram stress test, am I concerned? Not really. For me, this is a baseline. And this is why it's important as folks here in the low-carb, ketogenic, and carnivore communities, we must insist on a full blood panel plus a calcium CT scan, okay? I know that there's a lot of talk right now about lean mass hyperresponders, but, you know, this is just information here that can go to proving or not, or disproving the lean mass hyperresponder. We need to, as a community, and I'm very big into making sure that our communities, the low carb, ketogenic, no sugar, no grain, and carnivore communities, really take advantage of everything that is offered here. Okay, echocardiogram stress test, CT calcium scores, making sure that we minimize the influence of alcohol in our lives, obviously any other major risk factors, and, you know, I mean, things like that. Not only that, but you also have to work out, whether it's walking 30 minutes a day after every meal, whether it's participating in weightlifting, which I'm really enjoying. Unfortunately, I may have to give that up for a little while due to, well, this hiatal hernia that was found. That's a whole nother video right there. You know, whether it's weightlifting, whether it's HIIT, whether it's taking up running, jogging, you know, distance running, it doesn't matter. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments down below. Basically, as a summary, I'm not scared. I'm not worried about my calcium score right now. Again, it's a baseline. It's a baseline of 62. I'm going to insist next year that I have it again. And I'm interested in finding out whether or not it's been going down being on this lifestyle, which I suspect it has been, or whether it's increasing on this lifestyle. So, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share. Put your comments down below if this content you found to be helpful, or even if you disagree with me and you're telling me that I'm going to die, or I should have had a vegan on X the other day wish me death because I eat animals. So, folks, take care. Thank you very much for tuning in. You know, our health is tied directly to our individual liberty, and there's no getting around that anymore. Last couple of years have proven that there are people out there that are willing to use health scares to manipulate you. So take care, folks. Enjoy, and I will see you later.